Hi there. So I thought I'd talk a bit about my setup since so many people have been asking about it. No, nobody's asked about it, but I just thought I'd share it because it's kind of cool. Um, so basically, I'll start with this Mooger Fooger. This is pretty cool pedal, pretty unique in that you can control all the parameters by CV, and you can also uh, it has outputs for both oscillators it has. So it has an oscillator that works as an LFO, but you can bring it up to hearing range. And it also has a carrier, which is used as a ring modulator. But I'm basically bringing those oscillators into the Motu to Max to control envelopes. And from Max, I'm sending CV to control all the parameters. So basically, that's the LFO you can hear there. You can hear the square shape. And I kind of use that mainly as a kick, but it can be other things too. And then the carrier, I kind of use as a percussion hi-hat, I call it, and you can get pretty wild sounds out of it. So right now it has a lot of FM, and it can also be ring modulated by the radio, which I have plugged in. So you can get some pretty wild sounds. Basically plug in the radio into the substitute carrier input in the Mooger. And then I am creating white noise from Max and sending it to this fuzz pedal, which I always thought it was kind of a uncontrollable pedal, but this seems like a good use for it. You can kind of color the sound of it nicely. It's always kind of hard to predict what it'll do. Still got to get to know it. Anyway, so I control all this with this cheap keyboard. Various parameters. I have like a reverb. And then I can control the amount of FM I send to this. And the volumes for everything, so like that's the kick. And then I have a sequencer which I can turn on here. And basically it makes patterns randomly. Depending on, I have like several states of busyness, I call them. So this is like the most sparse, and basically it just kind of sprinkles sounds here and there, and I can kind of interfere with this. It's kind of rhythmic, but not exactly. It starts to get more regular and rhythmic as I go through the keyboard. I've only mapped this part of it. And I can kind of change the subdivisions. Go back. And this kind of works as a master tempo. The pitch wheel changes the tempo, but it always goes back to the original or the center tempo. And here I can kind of change the center tempo. So so Then another cool thing is that I can also kind of freeze the pattern if I like it. So the sounds kind of keep changing, but the basic pattern is the same. So there I froze another one. And I can change the tempo. So the idea is to have a drum machine I can kind of just press a few buttons and keep playing another instrument and kind of have it automized, so to speak. So kind of, for me, it kind of blurs the line between composing and designing an instrument, since you know, you can kind of work with it on the fly with previous stuff that I programmed into it. And I found that the analog stuff kind of sounds warmer.